Good morning, children. In the previous video, we learned about Rusty and his friends, Pitambar and Popat, taking halt in a rest house where they met a forest guard who was very much attached with his hat. Let us read further. The boys clapped. They had to admire their host's loyalty to his hat, and they had to admit it seemed to suit him, adding distinction. Distinction means importance to his scar and one eye. On hearing Kali Topi's attachment with the hat, all the three boys clapped to show admiration or respect to his loyalty towards his hat. They also admitted that the hat suited him and added importance to the scar on his face and his terrible looking one eye. Tell us your name, asked Popat. Kali Topi is my name. I need no further claim to fame. When Popat asked his host's name, he proudly announced that Kali Topi was his name and he didn't require anything extra to be identified. We'll call you Topi for short, said Rusty. But tell us how long you have been wearing it. Only 30 years, about half of my life. It has lasted well, observed Pitambar. Seeing him so attached to his name, Rusty told Kali Topi that they would call him Topi for short and also asked for how long he had been wearing this hat. And Kali Topi's response was 30 years, which indeed was a long period for a hat to remain in condition said by Pitambar. Made in London, it was worn by an Angrezi magistrate. Children, magistrate means judge. When I was a young forest guard, he was killed by a tiger. The tiger ate him but left the hat. After hearing the praise of his hat, with pride Kali Topi started to describe further about his possession. He informed that the hat was made in London and was worn by a British magistrate when he was a young forest guard. He also disclosed that the magistrate who used to wear it was killed and eaten by a tiger, leaving the hat behind. Were you there when it happened? Yes, it happened very quickly. The magistrate, his assistant, and two forest guards, I was one of them, were on foot on the trail down to Hanol, when the tiger came out of the bushes, very fast, very silent, and pounced upon the Sahib and carried him. One of the boys asked about him for being witness of the attack. He was so eager to know what happened actually. And Kali Topi narrated the whole incident, how the magistrate and his two forest guards, he was one of them, were walking down to Hanol. Children, Hanol is a temple located in Uttarakhand. When suddenly a tiger appeared out of the bushes and attacked upon the magistrate and carried him off. And what about you? Oh, I was up a tree in no time, but not before the tiger had clawed out one of my eyes. That was when I was trying to rescue the Sahib. None of us had guns, you see. You don't chase an angry tiger with a walking stick. So we waited until we thought it was safe and then we went for help. Found the magistrate Sahib next day, not much was left of him. When Rusty shows his interest in this story, he further told that he went up the tree but not before the tiger that had grabbed one of his eyes when he was trying to save Sahib. He also told that no one had gun and a fierce tiger could not be driven away with a walking stick. So they waited for the right time to come down off the tree and went for help. But the next day, Magistrate Sahib was mostly found eaten. A little was only left. It was a man-eater, all right, and the first in these parts. And there were cubs, and they too grew up to be man-eaters. Kali Topi revealed that the tiger which attacked them was a man-eater, and it was first of its kind in that region. The tiger also had cubs, and he was worried that they too would grow up as man-eater. And the hat? Asked Rusty. Was the magistrate still wearing it? Rusty was still interested in the hat and wanted to know if Sahib was wearing it when he was attacked and eaten. No, it was lying near the bushes where he had been attacked. Look, there's still a big scratch on it, made by one of the tiger's claws. Black Hat told that no, the hat was found lying in the bushes where the attack took place. He also showed the scratch on it which was made by the claws of the tiger. The boys came closer to look at the hat. Its wearer had no intention. Intention means plan to do something, of removing it. So they had to stand around him to examine it. There was a big dent. Dent means mark on one side. It could have been made by any sharp object. It sounded like a very tall story. Tall story, children, here means a story which is very hard to believe. But the boys decided to believe it. You could believe anything about Black Hat. So when Kali Topi told about the scratch made on a hat, the boys started looking carefully at the hat. And since the wearer was not intended to take it off, they had to go closer and examine it. They easily noticed a big mark on one side of the hat, which could also be made by any sharp object. But since the story was narrated with much seriousness, the boys decided to believe it. Actually, it was Kali Topi's appearance that made anyone believe anything said by him. The next part of the story will be explained in the next video. Thank you, children.